first look. So we'll step in here. So when we come in first look at the chicks that are this age, you know, we hope to see that all the chicks made it through the night well, and before we go in and interact with them, I'm kind of hanging back, because before we go in and interact with them, we kind of assess, okay, how are they utilizing the footprint? So where are they in their space? Are they utilizing all their space? Are they only utilizing part of their space? And what parts of the space are they ignoring? So we can see here, we have a heat lamp available. There's absolutely no chickens under it. So we'll try to determine why is that. Do we need to do something about that? So we've got some chicks there. I'm going to try to zoom in as we go kind of light to light. So they're resting. A few chicks there resting. A few chicks there resting. Chicks at the waters. Got chicks there resting, so that's good. Okay, so there's a lot of chicks right there. So, and then that light. So, we'll kind of try to determine what's attractive about there that's making them all go there. And we might we'll want to adjust something, because we want to encourage more of those birds to come over here to these underutilized areas, okay? So at any rate, so those are some of the things we're gauging. Good news is, it looks like everybody made it through the night. So let me try to move on over here, and we'll try to get down on their level. Because, this is more chicks than we want concentrated in one area. But it may change as the day goes on too. So, I didn't look at the temperature before I walked in here, but I was outside in a t-shirt, but in the direct sun, and felt comfortable. So overnight, we were in the mid-30s degrees Fahrenheit. So maybe it just so happened that this was the warmest area of the building, and more of the birds concentrated right here. And maybe, as our temperatures outdoors increase, maybe the birds will spread out more throughout the space. Also, as I'm looking, I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that I'm assessing these lights, and okay, so another thing, we initially had thought we would only use, let me see if I can back up. Well, I'm not getting the camera to move. So initially we had thought we would only use this row of lights closest to us, and we didn't have any of the far lights turned on. And then as we got all 126 unpacked, we recognized they weren't utilizing that end. Even though we had heat lamps on down there, they were all coming actually down here to these two lights closest to us side by side here. So they were all concentrating there, and we didn't want that happening. So that's when I decided, well, instead of using all of this one row of lights, we're going to use 2 rows and only go part way up. So what I was noticing when I said I'm kind of coming to the conclusion as I'm looking at these lights, this particular lamp looks lower than the other lamps. So there's less heat loss from that bulb to the floor. So they're probably getting more warmth off of that one, and that's probably why they stayed there, okay? So I am going to check on what's going on here. Okay, I was wondering about this one because of the way it was laying. I just wanted to see if it would respond and move, but the day's going to warm up, and I actually may lift, see, we've got S-hooks here, okay? So I actually may lift this light a link anyway and try to get it about the same height as the lamp next to it. But I'd say when I adjusted lamps, I dropped this one lower than the other ones, and that just created, a pocket of warmth there that they wanted to stay under. So a great thing about a brooder like this is that there is a lot of space. If birds get too warm, they generally aren't going to get trapped under a heat source. Generally, because there's all kinds of room around them for them to leave the hot spot, you know, and get away from it so they can not overheat. Now, they can get trapped though. That's why we get concerned about an inordinate amount of birds packing up under one light, because they can get trapped if so many birds concentrate under a single heat source that the ones, you know, that want out can't get out. So we watch that. So let's move up here where you can see some of them that waters. But what we end up doing footprint wise on their little pen here is making sure that we had enough heat lamps on for the birds to be able to comfortably spread out amongst the heat lamps as they choose. We also made sure there's a water spotted in between each heat lamp, and we made sure that the food is right beside the heat source and right beside the water. So we do those things because the chicks absolutely will prioritize warmth. They want to stay where it's warm. So if the water's too far away from the warmth, they're not going to go to the water. They're going to get dehydrated. The food, you know, we'll even watch that, and we may adjust where the food placement is, because if we're going to have cold nights, you know, they may not go to the food if they don't want to leave the warmth. But at this point, you know, that's probably okay. That's probably okay. And we can see, you know, we can see they are finding the food. They are going to the food. I can look at the birds and see that they're eating. And this is good. The way we're seeing the lights being used now is really good, because they're leaving that middle open and they're kind of forming up as a semicircle around it. But they are really cute. It's really fun to watch day-old chicks. And these Cornish rock cross meat chickens, they're going to grow so fast and they get awkward looking, and they'll start to feather in, but they don't always feather in even completely by the time we go to the processor. So they don't stay cute for long, but in the beginning, they're just as cute as other chicks in the beginning. And in their defense, they make some really great poultry meat. So they don't have to win any beauty contests. They just need to stay healthy and thriving. So overall, I have a good feeling about this group. We're supposed to get into some warmer weather that's not going to fluctuate, hopefully, as much. That's going to be easier for us to work with in here with their heat lamps. Another thing I see we may adjust, and I don't know how we ended up with this. But see how these bulbs kind of have an orange-yellow look to them? And that bulb has a definitely red look. And so we must have sourced bulbs from two different places and got two different brands. But this was a bulb yesterday that I was displeased with, too, that we were having some trouble with. And see, even there, the height is not a problem that the bulb's suspended at, but those birds aren't leaving the middle open. They're laying right under that. And on these others, they're using it more appropriately, where they're leaving that central beam coming down open. So we have an adjustment there. I think we need to swap that bulb out for one that's going to shine kind of orange yellow like these. Here's one. Oh, I thought that one was going to sleep. I thought we'd get to see that. So we're saying, we're calling them 2 days old. Okay? They moved in on April 22nd, 2024. They would have hatched on April 21st, 2024. Oh, there we are. And this is April 23rd. So we're saying day 2 because we go by move-in day. Okay, and that's good. We saw as I moved all those birds there were responsive. I'm going to see if they get up and move away. Well, they don't know I'm there yet. Yeah, that's good. We just want to see some response in the birds. We don't want to see them look lethargic when they have a stimulus approach them. We want to see, at this age, we definitely want to see quick reaction from them when they realize that there's a stimulus kind of exerting some pressure on them to move away. So anyway, but yeah, I was saying we go by the day we move them in, and we call that day one. So move-in day for our hatchlings, for our flock ages, we call move-in day one, and then we just go from there. So, and this group will go on day 37 to the processor. So this one is interesting. I don't know if y'all can pick this up. In this whole flock, they're all that solid yellow chick fluff. This one has some brown on its fluff. I'll be curious how it feathers in. And it's actually interesting that the features of its shape of its head, there's two beside it, its head almost looks finer than the other ones. I'll be curious, and its legs even look finer. I'll be curious watching this one, how it grows. So we've had that before in other flocks too. We've had like a chick that had other feather. In fact, one flock, I think we had about 3 chickens that had a lot of brown feathering around the head and on the wings they ended up with. And they got big just like the rest of them, ended up being a successful part of the flock, but it'll be kind of interesting to watch that one. So anyway, so the chicks are looking pretty good for day 2. So today, y'all saw what I saw. We walked in, first morning look, day 2, we knew they had enough resources. We know they have enough water. We know they have enough food. We can be pretty sure the heat lamps were okay because we tested bulbs and they'd been checked recently. So, you know, it was just a matter of getting in here and seeing if they all thrived overnight, and they did. So we're happy about that. 126 on day 2. And we'll keep track of them. We'll keep videos up on them. So God bless y'all.